Hello, I'm Steve. A little about myself. I'm a retired law enforcement officer with 20 years of service. I began my career in the jail, worked the road, and became an investigator. During my career, my training consisted of everything from SWAT to becoming a state certified crime scene technician. I've investigated crimes from thefts to homicides. After retiring and becoming aware of true crime and web sleuths, I started my channel for web sleuths to better understand the perspectives of law enforcement. Not only do we cover true crime, I go out into the field and assist families who have lost loved ones to homicide and their cases are considered cold. Join me as we look and bring attention to these critical cases.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see the Waffle House crew this time of morning out here. I'm sure there's probably going to be a little bit of echo. I'm in a motel room up here in Indiana, but absolutely want to thank everyone that for being here tonight. And as always, respect the mods, respect each other, and respect families. I don't have any content or anything or a slideshow tonight. Been on the road for the last 2 days. Left Georgia yesterday and drove up to Pennsylvania. Didn't arrive into Pennsylvania until this morning around 12:30 or 1. And absolutely amazing that once you leave the interstate system and you get into some of the back country, I took some video on the roads as I drove up to the state college or college state, whichever one it is, to the lab. And getting up there after you leave the interstate system was absolutely amazing. It was entering into almost a twilight zone of there's nothing. I mean, you enter in the I called it the Hansel and Gretel farce because there was nothing there other than woods and some homes and just, no stores open for miles and miles and miles. And so thankfully, people had told me to fuel up before I got into some parts of that country, and I did. But it was a interesting trip. And like I said, I met with the lab people this morning, delivered the bone for analysis. And sometime in the next 3 months, we'll get that information back on that case and move on with the Amber Crum case and follow up on some more information. And then after I met with the lab people this morning, I drove across and came over to Indiana to meet with a cold case family. And had a meeting this evening, have a full day tomorrow. And then tomorrow evening, I'm going to meet with Larry and have supper with him and discuss Amber's case some. But let's see who all's here in the chat. Cunningham, good to see you. Who else we got over here? Sharon, Dinks, Jocelyn, Tech Death Hippie, good to see you. There's Debbie. Unearthed Secrets, up late as always. Deanne, good to see you. See Through, Dandy. L Fig, hello, that's a new one. Pigwire, probably butchering that. Pie Girl. Okay. 1985. April 4/18, Unearthed Secrets again. Sean, got to meet Sean this morning. Absolutely wonderful individual. We had a great discussion. I look forward to seeing him again. Brilliant man, brilliant. Then we have Madison, Stacy, Jill, good to see you. April. April has a true crime that happened today. Don't know if that's good or not. JJ, Katie Lynn, Grace. I'm glad I made it here also. Like I said, when I was going through the some of the roadways up there, I told Sean this morning, it's like entering into the Blair Witch Highway system. I mean, you talk about some spooky areas. And I had rented a vehicle to drive, and in some of those back countries, I'd got the road service, but then I got to thinking about it, that who's going to come out there? How would they ever find you? So I don't know what good that did, but let me get back up here. It jumped. All right. WO22, good to see you. Leslie Copper Horse, good to see you this morning. Let's see. There's Jocelyn, there's Brenda, Miss Deanne again, and Ann, good to see you. And oh, okay. Prince Edward Islands in Canada, where I live. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. And yes, yesterday I drove about almost 12 hours. I stopped and met another one of our members in chat, and they gave me some equipment donated to the lab at home. And so I have that piece of equipment now. Looking forward to getting it back and working with it. There's Pamela. Good to see you. There's Dave. There's the waffler. Yeah, Dave's going to make sure we stay on the waffle. And there's not any Waffle Houses up here that I've seen. Now, there may be this part of Indiana. I know there will be on the way home. I'm going to stay up here a couple of days in Indiana, and I'll be leaving probably Friday morning if everything goes well. Lisa. There's Frank. Yes, we all hope that she feels better soon. We were texting after I delivered that bone for DNA analysis. I text the group so that they know that I got it delivered, and which was a fascinating lab. I'm really happy with them, and I got a tour of their facility, and so I'm looking forward to the information. I'm pretty sure they'll ask me to help them. They wouldn't let me around any of their equipment. There's a reason for that. Oh, me. But Indiana is not a fan of the Waffle House. Kentucky has plenty. It'd be Friday before I get through there again. And but anyway, we got over here today finally, and like I said, I got a full day of working tomorrow, and meeting with Larry late in the evening, and hopefully I'll have time to go over and meet with my private investigator up here on either maybe a little bit Friday morning, but I'll have to get home sometime Friday because Mrs. Steve's got the grandson Friday afternoon, and that's never a good thing. One human just cannot control the grandson. Wide open. Just absolutely amazing. Mr. Steve, Sean wrote down, did the directions I give you help at all? Actually, it was the exact directions because 70 was closed down there at the beginning, and they sent me to 66 anyway, which is what you already had set down. So I'm looking forward to getting that whatever on my license plate in the mail, that pass my fees. Oh, me. Love to hunt. Good to see you. Oh, you've been, yes, over 50 years. How old is your grandson? He's 4, going on 5, and but his rating of wear and tear on a household is probably somewhere around 100. He ages things extremely quickly. He doesn't have what you call gentle, loving hands. He's rough on everything. You know, if he can't break it, then it can't be broken. No, Mrs. Steve's doing fine. She's she was aggravated with the all the canines. She's having to take care of all the canines by herself, and they're giving her fits. They're giving her fits. Call me Kitty. Good to see you. Yeah, I didn't. I don't know how. I don't know if any of the other states. The only states that really gets me, that I worry about, is Iowa. They have cameras. Now these other states may have cameras too, so I may get all kind of little hate mail. But I try to maintain and be within the law as much as possible. It's exit 66, Plainfield, Martinville, not too far from Indianapolis. I'll have to look because I'm not too far from there, I don't think. La, good to see you. You're on team Mrs. Steve, because that's what Mrs. Steve says. If I can't break it, it can't be broken. I wouldn't put my grandson on an 8-year-old. I'd put him well above, like I said. I mean, he'll just look at something and study it for a long time before he puts hands on it and breaks it. But he's absolutely amazing. Yes, maple syrup will get you through. Yes. Actually, you don't know how you're almost psychic, because you can ask Sean. This morning I had a maple donut, one of those maple syrup or whatever icing donuts. I love maple. Hello, Gail. Good to see you. But we sat down and had some coffee and cop food this morning, and talked for, I don't know, probably an hour and a half, and I enjoyed that. But anyway, like I said, I got to spend another day or two up here, and I just wanted to drop in and see what was going on with the morning crew, and see what's happening on the morning watch. And once again, y'all had warned me about deer, and you are correct. I didn't see the first deer on the way to Pennsylvania until I got into Pennsylvania. And then as I was on the Blair Witch Highway and watching the deer on the side, I said, yes, it's going to happen, because I saw a lot of the deer just laying on the side of the road that had been struck by others. And I was waiting for one to get me, but I missed them all. Definitely watch your speed in Martinsville, Indiana. I don't know if I went through there yet or not. It sounds familiar. Yeah. He's more like, tornado. A little bit more than tornado. I don't know, more than a hurricane. I just don't know. He's if you could harness it, it would be a energy level that is not likely to be ever copied again. Yes. Whoop. Let's see what we got going on up here. Yeah, I've seen plenty of deer. Now, this is terrible. When you have 7 of them hit you in 2 months, that's amazing. I don't know where you live, but my goodness, they've got a hit out on you or something. They're attacking you. I haven't looked at this yet, but hopefully that will happen. My son wore a football helmet all year when he was 4. That's funny. Oh, uh-oh. It says, I tried to send a sticker, but it won't process, so I'll send a chat. Thank you. Appreciate your support. Um, we appreciate everybody's support because, like I said, we had a great trip and looking forward to getting that information. The lab said that it'd be sometime between now and 3 months before we get the information back on the bone and DNA. But they were extremely confident, which I didn't know that much about some of the testing they have, but they have they said as far as finding species, they have a high confidence level that they'll be able to tell the species of the bone. Now, they said they may or may not be able to get a DNA, and I'm speaking for them out of school because she had some very fancy words that she put in there, but of the DNA profile. But they would be able to. She felt very confident they will get me a species, if nothing else. Yes. Actually, I spoke about you tonight. I was talking with Purdue, and she had mentioned about me coming through in July. And I spoke to them, telling them that I was going to stop in and I had to go and have coffee with you. And so I look forward to that. Yeah, I'm liable to click on anything. Mrs. Steve is not here. She's at home. Oh, I don't have a copper horse. I don't have a blue light. Man, I'm glad you mentioned that. I need to get me a blue light to take on the road with me. Brilliant. Thank you, Copper Horse. That I will do that. I gotta get me a blue light. Yeah, when I was coming through, heading this way on the roads, it was absolutely amazing. Um, the road work that's being done in Pennsylvania. I'm popping in to hit the light, get a thumbs up, getting sleepy here. Good to see everyone. Good to see you, KS. Appreciate you being here. I have to start calling you a Hoosier. Deer use the crosswalk. I'll tell you, like I said, I saw a bunch of deer last night, um, and I don't know how I didn't hit some of them because they were right on the side of the road, and there was a certain part, and when I get it off my because I made a video as I was driving down the road that now the part I didn't video, I wish I had, but I couldn't. I didn't feel safe trying to film that where they didn't have a guardrail, that the trees, I mean, the root systems are right next to the pavement, and the trees are right next to the pavement and certain parts of where I was at. And I said, well, you don't really need a guardrail if you keep the trees that close to the side of the road. Three of them ran out. You got, and then the car next only got one of them. Yeah, my mother-in-law had one come into her windshield, but didn't hurt her. Luckily, it didn't come through the windshield, but it totaled the vehicle. It absolutely totaled her car. There's nothing nice about a deer strike. Nothing nice about it at all. Boston. Hash browns, Indiana. Smother colored chunk, diced peppers, cap, top, country. I'm tired. You can take it from there. Oh, me. They have it where you can get them all. You can get everything they have. Yes, Jeff, we're doing extremely well. I've had, like I said, um, 2 long days on the road, and so next 2 days I don't have any driving to do other than what's local, and just a lot of paperwork, taking a lot of notes, and um, trying to get as much information on the code cases as we move forward. Doesn't the word waffle have another meaning too, like to be wishy-washy? I don't know. I've heard about people saying waffling back and forth. So it probably does, but the Waffle House isn't built upon that. I guarantee you, the Waffle House was built upon after hours, um, time bars closed, last final call, and we're gonna go and get us a waffle and some eggs and coffee before we go home and fight with whoever is left at home. Luckily, I didn't see any fog last night. There wasn't, but now we have it in Georgia a lot now, but I didn't see any last night, thank goodness. But I couldn't get over. I mean, I went from an area where I met the supporter that donated the equipment, absolutely interstate, huge complex, Walmart, uh, everything that you would find around an anchor store, and a thriving metropolis. And I turned on my maps and my map app, and I said I wanted to go to the where the lab was, put it in, and within 2 minutes, I was in an area that um, they really need to put some paint on the road. It would make driving so much easier if there was a line either on the side of the road, in the middle of the road, and but it would help a lot. So I'm gonna have to make a siren sound. Yeah, that's about the truth. Mrs. Steve wants a siren. I have one. I've just got to rig it up for her. Is a family allowed to pay for DNA testing if they want it run faster without prejudice a criminal case? I think as long as it's accredited lab, whatever they do would be fine. Um, but no, I don't think when you're in the private side of it, as I was speaking to the lab people, I wanted to make sure that um, as they were doing the species, because they gave me a break on the cost of doing species. Evidently, it's a different type of testing, but it still allows that after the species testing, if we wish to get the mitochondrial DNA sequencing, is still available. They just don't sequence it out for that profile, but they can and will. And I said, well, if you can decide what the species is, then if it's human, I'm pretty sure law enforcement will take over from that point. If it's non-human, of course, there's no need for the DNA sequencing. And I agree with you. And they were very confident that the species would be identifiable, and and I found that very, very um, uh, comforting to see that confidence. I sent Mrs. Steve some good stuff today. Good. She hadn't sent me anything. Usually she forwards me, but like I said, I've been on the road all day, and she didn't want to distract me. I've got a bat phone for the commissioner. I got a bat phone. Yeah, it's wound up to be in Indiana, and like I said, I'm gonna spend a couple of days up here talking to the family and making sure that we uh, give them see if we can have an impact on their case as much as possible. I've been to Colorado, but I don't know if I've ever driven the million dollar highway. It's never good when you have a bull elk land on your car. Yeah, having a bull elk land on your car is not something that you want. That's called All the Way Everything, and I take it has what is it, Burt's Chili on it, and that's one of those terms. I don't know which term is the Burt's Chili at the Waffle House, and I guess it's still called Burt's Chili. I don't know. It used to be. Oh, that. Oh, there's a little dark humor there. Now I appreciate that. The deer crossing sign was 2 miles up the road. I like watching those people that get on there and talk about why would you put a deer crossing here? There's so much traffic. Yeah, I had a brother that was stationed, not in Newfoundland, but uh, he was up in somewheres where there were a lot of moose, and he said that they were dangerous on several levels. Ray Jones, good to see you. Yeah, yeah, it wasn't built on anybody waffling back and forth. No, they they're built on what can I get to get sobered up so the spouse won't be upset with me. Yes, and this is absolutely true. The Waffle House Disaster Index, and yeah, if you ever see a Waffle House closed down, it's not good. I like IHOP. Man, that's my luck. That's my luck right there. Um, the ex lets the car insurance lapse and hits a deer and totals the car. Made payments for 2 or 3 years and couldn't drive the thing. Robin, hi, Mr. Steve. I'm just joining you. Glad you arrived. I'm glad I did also. It was, like I said, when I was heading up last night, after I left the interstate like at 10 or 11 o'clock and had another 2 hour ride through the forest of nowhere. And just, I said, well, Mrs. Steve ain't going to find me here. Maybe a helmet with a blue light and siren used during the travels. I could ride. I could wear it as I drove. No, they won't be any bone that I know of. They said they'd look at it, but uh, they had they're going to look at it. They were excited that I spoke about that. It appeared that there was marrow inside the bone that you could see from one end of the bone, and so they were excited about that, and so we'll see what uh, they're able to do with it. Do you think at some time the family in Indiana will give you permission to talk about that case on your channel? Absolutely. Well, we discussed that tonight, and so that will be something that will probably happen at some point. It may be. There'll be a time when that will be um, for us to cross that bridge. There's certain things that we need to do before it becomes common knowledge. I can't wait to see what that would be. So you're local up in Delphi? Okay. I'm going to be going through Delphi sometime in July, going up and coming back. We're going to stop by and see a couple of folks up there. Austin, Gail, that's very kind of you, Gail. Appreciate it. But no, I work with some really good people, and I try to do what I was trained to do the best I can. And thank you, Lisa. There's not much deer in Central California. Too many mountain lion and bear. Well, if obviously there's no bear or something in Pennsylvania or mountain lions. They may be, but they're not eating all the deer. They need to. So, like I said, um, some of the places I was at last night. This will do nicely. Good to see you. Yeah, let's see here. What does Waffle House have with low carbs? They even put carbs in their water. So there's nothing. There's nothing at Waffle House that has low carbs. Nothing. And yeah, I saw some places that still. Well, I don't know if it's just the economy or if it was due to the pandemic or a mixture of the two. In some of the areas, um, as I traveled over the last couple 3 months, some of the old service stations are no longer viable. Well, I didn't worry about the buggies at midnight. Now that doesn't mean you couldn't have some um, Amish buggy at midnight, but I didn't see any. But most of them have lights on them. I'm currently in um, Columbus, and but I'll be traveling. I've got to meet with Larry. I don't know where Larry wants to meet tomorrow evening. So, and then of course my PI is over in Western Indiana. So, if I can get over there to meet with them. Um, Wait, so it's not a stick. We're going to go over that. We're going to have a deep discussion. I've got to get when when Unearthed Secrets publishes her picture, and I have plenty of pictures for you, which I'll get to you, and we need to have a show about that and let you explain. your and Chris's and your conversation about why would you photograph a stick? Oh man. Almost hit a deer by the reservoir, hit the brake, slid sideways. The car stopped a couple inches from him. A deer was looking at me through the window. I saw a patrol car one time where a deer came through the passenger window, front driver's seat, passenger side, and of course the deer didn't survive it, but scared the officer to death. Probably passed me up on I-80. I'm trying to think, did I go on I-80? I've been on so many roads and little pieces of roads. I can't remember. I went up 81. I think it's 81. Yeah, 81 from Tennessee all the way up. But I don't know if I was on 80 at any time. Could have been. What did you have for dinner? Tonight I had a half a rack of ribs, and met with the family and bought them supper, and had a half a rack of ribs, and if half a rack of ribs is junk food, I'll gladly eat half a rack of ribs. Thank you, appreciate it. We're pretty good right now. When you were in Delphi, did you have any theories on how BG caught up with them on the bridge? Of course, there's several different possibilities. Um, you know, uh, which end of the bridge was he on originally? Did he cross prior to them, let them pass by and walk back, cut them off, and then came on? Um, or did from the first platform, um, you know, he says he walked back and sat on the bench, but he didn't see the girls, which uh, that I'm talking about what Richard Allen said, because he said he was on that first platform. But after the witness saw him on the first platform and turned around, went back to her vehicle prior to leaving, did Richard Allen follow her back and then meet the girls and decide to, or saw the girls coming and decided to turn around? Did he let them pass by, cross the bridge, follow them? Or did, when he saw them coming, did he turn around and go all the way across the bridge and wait until they came across the bridge? Don't know. There's so many different possibilities of how that occurred. Very nice of you, Grace. That's very sweet of you to say. Yes, I'm sure you do have bears in PA, Pennsylvania. They just don't seem to eat all the deer. Cougar bears. Oh my, that's funny. That will be a mystery, and I hope. Like I said, I have no idea why anyone would put a rag in a tailpipe, um, unless you're trying to stop the exhaust and create back pressure so it wouldn't run. That's the only reason. And I wish I had a car that I was willing to do that, to see if you could build up back pressure and the car would run a mile or two and then shut down, and disable it. I don't know. That'd be interesting to try. I just don't know why you would, and unless that's what you're trying to do. Yeah, actually, we spoke about that community today. Who was I talking to? Um, I can't remember who I was speaking with about that today. Chris is lucky for several reasons. Can you imagine if he had run me over? Uh, the fight, or well, he may have got a lot of donations. I don't know. It depends on what the other creators, um, if he was out to actually run me down. But yeah, he was lucky he didn't run me down. He was lucky to get out of that crawl space. Columbus is nice. If you go west, a little place called Nashville, Indiana. Yes, I went through Nashville, Indiana one time. Uh, Not last trip, maybe 2 trips ago when I went up to Iowa. Um, and I didn't even know there was a Nashville, Indiana until I went through there. Uh, and I like driving that road a lot better than some of the other highway systems because it's a beautiful part of the country. Elbows Mom from the UK. Good to see you. Thank you. Yes, it was delicious. and But I enjoyed it. I like ribs. I really do. Metal Cabana. I didn't see you here. I'm glad. Good to see you. I hate that you have a good night. All best wishes to Steve from DFW. The Weather Channel or someone said during undrivable fog, you should drive off the road safely, put your car in park, hold the brake, and turn off your lights. Does anyone know why I turn off? I guess keep other people from driving towards you if they can't see. Uh, I don't know. That's going to be another one of those mysteries. Yeah, there's a lot of people walk slow on that bridge. Sean said that when he crossed it, he kept going, and once he got across, he did, he thought about how he was going to get back. Yes, I went right. Yeah, I crossed over right through there, so I wasn't far from you. And Dave, that is a good point that he thinks that the girls for the witness for abduction because it does make a lot of sense of why he would park the car somewhere because you couldn't take a victim back to your car, but you could use their car as a getaway vehicle during the abduction, and then at some point exchange vehicles. Jill says, "What does it mean when a grand jury has been impaneled in a case?" The Stephen Smith's attorney says he believes that has happened. He also mentioned subpoenas. Um, it just means that they brought the necessary amount of people together that meets the state law's um, grand jury definition of how many people and to hear the case. Um, and if evidence is given and they received by the grand jury members, they'll vote on it. And if it meets the number of yes votes for indictment, then that's what will happen. And the subpoenas can force you to come and testify. And there's a couple of different ways that um, grand juries are used. Some of them are investigative tools, and sometimes they're just for bringing the charges against. And I don't know which one happened up there. I didn't see any of the varmints upright and walking on two legs. I didn't see any of those. Yes, I could fill a swimming pool with all the coffee I've drunk from Waffle House. Ray Jones. Oh, do you know how to tell if a West Virginia man is married? He he has tobacco stains down both sides of his pickup truck, um, and that's not only true in West Virginia. It's true in Georgia too. Now, my grandmother was really big into snuff, and I don't even know, do they even sell snuff anymore? Um, but the old Bruton snuff, and she was deadly accurate. When she spit, she could spit halfway across the yard, and of course, grass didn't grow where my grandmother spit. I mean, it was just absolutely. She was foul. I mean, mean goodness. Oh, Miss Deanne's got to leave. Uh, Glad you stopped in. Good to see you. Yeah, there ain't a lot going on. Like I said, I just wanted to stop in and see what everybody was doing tonight and let everybody know that I appreciate all your well wishes about me traveling and stuff. And I just wanted to check in while I was out and about. Mr. Steve, you've been keeping tabs on the baby India case in Forsyth County. Um, I remember it was in the news here recently about it's a miracle they found baby India in the first place. Those kids made sure that dad went out and very fortunate to find it. Oh, and bless their souls, do like a good chaw. Kind of disconcerting if you're not used to seeing that habit. But yeah, good, glad you came in. Um, yeah, I'm glad I finally made it. Ah, didn't know that. Bigfoot Fest next week in Marionville, PA. Did not know that they had Bigfoot Fest. Um, Mr. T, what time are you heading out tomorrow morning? Or you get on the road before dawn? No, I'll get up in the morning. I'm going to be here in Indiana. I'm not having to drive. Everything will be done local. Um, and I'm just going to do some interviews and get some notes taken and get everything ready as we move forward and prep and try to get as much information so that we can come up with some type of plan of action of what we're going to do on this cold case. I'm glad you remain safe. I continue to pray for you and Chris in your travel. Very nice of you. Thank you. We appreciate it. Grace says, Mr. C, be safe on your travel. Safe travel. I'm oldest here. Time for me to sleep. Love all you have here in chat. Thank you. I don't know if you're the oldest. Yeah. Goodness, time passed not really good. We had a lot going on in chat. Yeah, I was just able to barely keep up with the chat. But yeah, I'll be getting up in the morning and having me a good early breakfast. I'm in a pretty good place. It has food all around me. Grace says, there's no argument. I am Otis. Oh, that's funny. Now we got a fight going on. I'm probably the oldest. Let's see. I spent a lot of time in Avon. I'd love to make that trip one of these years. My furthest east is Delaware. Can't get much further east. Hey, Steve, glad to see you're back. I watched RP to see how everything went. I'm not back home. I'm just decided to come on tonight while I was up here in Indiana. But Sean says, I'm 65. Oh, I don't know how old I feel. Elizabeth says, I'm late. I was busy making waffles. There you go. Got 71. So we're soon 69. We're 71. It's what new equipment did you get donated? It's a piece of equipment. I purchased a microscope so I could do some work with it, looking at different things such as shell casings, bullets, fingerprints. But there was part of the fingerprint comparison that if I want to do that, the piece of equipment I had wouldn't allow you could only focus on a very small part with the camera system. With what I have now is sort of like a really large reader that where I can bring in 2 items and be able to, 25, 50 times and larger and be able to do comparisons with. I'm going to see how it works. Hopefully it works out fine. I don't know why it wouldn't. Yeah, I'm older than I look. I'm the oldest. No, if anybody's older than what they look, I've seen my share of what in my lifetime. I've probably seen if you multiplied it out, I should be somewhere around I don't know 680 because I've seen enough for about 10 or 15 people, which is good. I've had a good one. I've seen some absolutely hilarious things, and I've seen some 180 degrees. I've seen everything from the spectrum of the most saddest thing you could ever imagine to the funniest thing. And I'll get one of these days, I'll talk to you about all the funny things I saw in law enforcement, that when the Keystone cops get out and absolutely do everything they can to mess up your plan of what we're going to do, and watch that domino of everyone absolutely messing up, and the ones that didn't mess up are laughing and crying so hard that they can't do anything either. Pamela wants me to talk about it, but I work with some funny characters. They were very serious. Some of them dead serious. They're so dry humor their humor is so dry that they can just, you know, they don't realize how hilarious they are. but and yeah, I need to get with bring together a crew of cops and see if I can't get the top cop stories, because there is a lot of things that happens in the law enforcement that you just shake your head at, man. And we kind of do the 9/11 memorial of the first responders is firemen and law enforcement. At least that's what they did in Georgia. Most all the governments would get their local firemen and local law enforcement, and they had Appreciation Day, and it's usually staged around 9/11. And whereas Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and things is more for our servicemen, and absolutely should be, and because they do so much for us and have done so much for us that there's no way in the world we would ever be able to repay. And get caught back up in here. I hit on this thing and it just does what it wants to do. Bill Gates and them still haven't asked me to come help them on the Google machine. I don't even know where you go with this. My law enforcement friend sent me a picture of a guy that repurposed a doggy bed for a hat. I mean, what? Oh my goodness. Oh me. Ooh, ooh. My daughter-in-law was in an accident this week. Officer forgot to put lights and sirens on and flew through the intersection she was traveling in. I'm sure there would be talk around the water cooler. I hope she's okay. Um, and um, and I'm sure that they will assist her, or they because you just don't fly through an intersection. Yeah, I mean, I know everything there is about the Google machine. I mean, I can lock down almost all the internet in 20 minutes of keystrokes. I didn't. I wish I had thought of going by there, but you are absolutely correct. Thank goodness for the technologies and the safety features on these vehicles. Absolutely. Um, having the drink. I don't have my coffee. I haven't had a Coke in probably 6 months. But they're all right. All righty. Well, has anybody got any other questions? If you do, now's the time to ask them. But like I said, I just wanted to come on tonight and give some of the morning watch people something to do for a few minutes, and I appreciate everybody being in here. Appreciate the support, and I will be back Saturday night. Thursday night I won't be able to because I'll still be up here, and I'll have to check and see what I can get accomplished on Saturday, but we should be getting a little bit of something together by then. Speaking of tasting your work, does anyone remember the old TV shows where L.E. would taste suspicious red liquid to see if it was blood? Not me. Marty, did you hear that? Jocelyn thinks I'm normal. Well, Jocelyn hasn't really looked into your history that much yet. What cold case are you working on? This one I'm doing right now is still, it's not, the family hasn't given me permission to speak about it yet. So I won't be able to speak about this one, but I was up here delivering the bone on Amber Crum case in Pennsylvania. And then in July, I'm going up to Lyric and Elizabeth's memorial. Ray Jones, very nice of you. I absolutely appreciate everything this channel does for everyone. And like Sean and I was talking tonight or earlier today, that when you look back on the one impact that we had with Larry, that Larry look you in the eye and tell you that, you know, it took him 40 years to be able to leave, to go to Texas and tell his baby girl bye, and have that impact on him, and that he felt that he had tried to do everything he could for her and is still continued to fight for her, that everything I've done and everything that y'all have allowed me to do has been worthwhile just on that one case. And I look forward for having the same or even greater impacts on these other families and cases. But it was just absolutely amazing to, see Larry have some closure, although we still got a lot of work to do on his case. But just hearing him say that, never having come to grasp or had that ability in all these years, that this he's felt like he's had an impact on that case now. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for y'all allowing that to happen. Have you been asked to do any cold cases in your state of Georgia? Prior to retiring, I worked some cold cases in Georgia. Oh, it was Colombo. Yeah. Oh, yeah. One more question. No, Mrs. Steve, it depends on how her parents are doing. She has to stay behind and take care of her parents. And I've lost both of mine. So she only has she still has both her mother and father right now. Indiana put Indiana Times on the FBI 10 most wanted and a $250,000 reward. Goodness. I don't know. I'll have to ask Larry tomorrow and see what they have. Actually, one of my training instructors for CSI back in the 90s, Buffington was his name. If you ever see any of the old documentaries on Wayne Williams and the Atlanta child homicides, he's the blonde-haired guy when he's young. When you see the old vintage newsreels, and then in later years, he's good. He was a good officer. Got ambushed, almost was killed in a shootout, and but he became the director of the Georgia State law enforcement training facility, and absolutely brilliant man, and he spoke of them, and he basically said that Wayne Williams was absolutely guilty of some of them, but that there was other cases that he wasn't involved in that they didn't try him for, but that there was other people or other reasons that some of those children um, died. Yeah, Thistle, it was that I was the only one in 40 years. Although, I hope that that we have more answers for him, and that's all we can do is hope for it. There may be Jeff H. Um, um, rather than Jeff F. I think there was a Jeff H. that was on panel the other day. Copper Horse out there working. Thank you, Copper Horse. Yeah, Ray Jones says it was Jeff H. Okay. Golden Fire. I'm late to the party, but I made it to alive. Glad to see you. All righty, guys. Well, been here for a little bit over an hour, and anyway, I'm gonna call it a night tonight, and appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate everybody's support. Like it, share, give it a thumbs up. We appreciate it, and I'll be back on Saturday, and hopefully we'll have some good content for you, and I'll have some video of the Blair Witch Woodpath road highway system in Pennsylvania. Absolutely amazing. But anyway, appreciate y'all being here tonight. Y'all stay safe, and I'll see y'all soon.